And welcome back. The U.S. Embassy and the Namibia University of Science and Technology, NUST, are hosting Tech Camp Namibia under the theme Cybersecurity for Everyone. Tech Camp events are two-day, hands-on, participant-driven workshops that connect private sector technology experts with key populations. And joining us in studio this morning to talk about the workshop that is underway is John Heley, Senior Manager for Intel Responsive Detection at Capital One, as well as Elina Viksne, who is a senior cyber expert from Latvia. A very good morning to you guys and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First time here?
Yes.
First time in Namibia.
First time.
Yes.
And how are you finding it?
Amazing.
Had a great time here.
Okay, good. Welcome. Perhaps we can start off with John first. You are Senior Manager responsible for Intel Responsive Detection. What does that mean? What are some of your day-to-day duties like?
Yes. So my job, I actually lead an international team that's responsible for analyzing data relative to our company and building detection signatures and algorithms to detect for various cyber threats that the company will face.
So that should be interesting.
Yes, very interesting.
All right. And Elina, you're a senior expert, cybersecurity expert. And what does your role entail, your job?
One of the main tasks for me is to look for cybersecurity solutions that could use the existing resources, both financially and human resources, to make the maximum effect. Because as a small country, Latvia is not a big country, we are under 2 million. We have to look for smart solutions, how to use our resources to find a new initiatives to engage with private sector, how to make private sector think about cybersecurity, how the government can speed up the cybersecurity in the government and the private sector as well.
Right. And in light of this, just briefly talk to us. What are some of the examples you would have for local government? Because our country is also a small country. We've got 2.3 million, our population. What are some of the sort of tips you could give?
Yeah. Well, one of the examples I already gave to the Tech Camp participants that were also from Namibia and neighboring countries was Responsible Isp Initiative. It's Responsible Internet Service Provider Initiative. It really didn't cost us anything to create that initiative, but basically the initiative aims to increase ISP providers to think about cybersecurity. They have to cooperate with our national CERT. Our CERT unit is the one who responds to cyber incidents. So we said that if you cooperate with our national CERT, if you cooperate with other institutions who take care of cybersecurity, we as a government give you a quality mark and you can show your customers that you care about cybersecurity. You are willing to work to make sure that there are no malicious activities on your networks. And this really was a good initiative that didn't cost us a lot, and private sector was very eager to participate because they saw this quality mark, this responsible ISP quality mark as something they could really show their customers as a sign that they care about cybersecurity. Because people are starting to ask companies, what do you do to make my cyber experience good? What do you do to make sure that I don't get infected or that I don't get attacked within your networks? So we provided this opportunity for private companies, and they were eager to use that. So we cover 80% of networks under this initiative, so we're proud of that.
Well, that's interesting. It seems like quite a lot of work, but also exciting. John, talk to us about some of the topics you'll be covering at Tech Camp.
So at Tech Camp, I'm actually covering the topics of continuous monitoring, threat detection, and incident response. And what that means is continuous monitoring refers to a 24/7 operation whereby you can monitor your environment for cyber threats and alerts that would fire related to those cyber threats. We actually have a security operations center both in the U.S. and in the U.K. that helps us to monitor 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, looking for those cyber threats to occur. The threat detection is actually where we build the detection models in order to alert and alarm our cybersecurity operations analysts to those threats.
All right, quite interesting. I mean, Facebook had the whole issue.
Exactly.
Everyone's talking about when it comes to social media and I suppose internet banking and so forth, people are at the moment feeling unsafe and uneasy in terms of giving your details away. I wanted to find out in that regard, will you be touching on some of these matters? Should I ask you, John?
Yes, we've definitely covered those various methods related to cyber hygiene, as we call it, protecting yourself online, protecting your accounts, your logins, and your assets related to different online transactions.
How do we go about it? Is it switching up passwords, or what does it entail?
It definitely includes having strong passwords, and longer is stronger. So when you have a password that's actually more characters, it's safer than having shorter characters related to the abilities of cyber hackers to crack those passwords.
All right, we'll think about that one. Elena, what are some of the topics you'll be covering at Tech Camp?
Well, one of the things that I already mentioned, I'm sharing with the participants those good examples or the best practices we are having in my country, the practices we have implemented with not many resources available. So I wanted to give them insight how we do that. And I'm also sharing the history. How did we build our cybersecurity policy? When did it start? How did it happen? And what kind of laws and legislation did we introduce to make our country safer in cyberspace?
And I like the fact of you having a minimum amount of access to resources and building something as great as this. I also wanted to find out from you, why would you say the type of work that you do and sharing it with other countries and others is important, not just to governments, but also private sector?
Well, in cyberspace, I would say there's no country as a separate island somewhere. We are all connected via global internet. So what we have to, we really have to cooperate with each other. We have to share things we are experiencing and learn from each other, because all the challenges we are experiencing are the same everywhere. I really learned that here as well. The things you are struggling here, the policymakers are struggling, are very similar to what I am experiencing back home. So it's very useful for us to exchange that, to hear that, oh yeah, we are on the same page. Nothing is different, but we can learn from each other what are the best ways how to tackle those challenges. So yeah, it's really about cooperation, not just at national level, but international as well, since we are so connected.
Yeah, you guys make it so exciting. And I'm not a technical person, I know much about cybersecurity, but John, why are cyber laws important?
Cyber laws are very important. They lay the framework and help enforce cybersecurity throughout the entire country. Really, it starts from the top and it works its way down. So organizations can actually follow the lead of the government as they lay these regulations and laws out, so that they can help regulate and cover the different cyber threats that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Elena, perhaps you can step in, since this is your field, cybersecurity. Why is it important?
Well, I think John outlined it already perfectly why it's important, but I would like to add that in order to adopt laws, strategies, policies, and to make them effective, to assign budget for them, you have to have leaders who understand what is cybersecurity, why it is important, and that we need to have appropriate resources assigned to that. So I would like to highlight also this political leadership engagement in making those cybersecurity policies actually practical and implemented, so that we don't just draft something and then put it somewhere else to be forgotten. So I would like to say that we also have been working very much on educating our leaders and our politicians to give them insight what could happen if the cyber attack would happen to our country. And it's not just about our social media accounts attacked. It's not only about businesses losing their money. Currently today, almost every critical infrastructure, the power utilities, water utilities, they're run by the computers. And if there's a computer, if there's an internet access, those utilities are vulnerable. So politicians sometimes don't think about those kind of things at that level, but we are here to remind them and to teach them that that's also a possible vulnerability that could happen out of cyber attack.
All right, guys, thank you so much for coming in. You're sort of making it clear that improvement and advancement in artificial intelligence comes with great responsibility too.
Very much so.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you have it. That was John Heley, who's the Senior Manager for Intel Responsive Detection at Capital One, as well as Elina Viksne, who's a Senior Cybersecurity Expert from Latvia. Do stay tuned.